In the electrifying world of mixed martial arts, few stories are as gripping as Paddy Pimblett's. Hailing from the gritty streets of Liverpool, this Scouser has transformed from a mocked underdog into a UFC lightweight force, silencing critics with every choke, strike, and cheeky dance. Once labeled a hype job, Paddy, the Baddy, Pimblett has turned ridicule into respect, leaving opponents battered and naysayers speechless. From his explosive UFC debut to dismantling veterans like Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler, Paddy's journey is a masterclass in resilience, showmanship, and raw talent. Join us as we trace the rise of the King of the North, a fighter whose flair and ferocity have redefined what it means to be a star in the octagon. A Scouser's arrival in the UFC. Born on January 3, 1995, in Liverpool, England, Paddy Pimblett grew up in a city known for its grit, humor, and unyielding spirit. A lifelong martial artist, he honed his skills in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, earning a black belt and a reputation as a submission specialist. Before joining the UFC, Paddy dominated the regional scene, capturing the Cage Warriors featherweight title and building a cult following with his brash personality and relentless finishes. His Scouse swagger, equal parts charm and defiance, made him stand out, but it was his 2021 UFC signing that thrust him into the global spotlight. Paddy's debut at UFC Fight Night in September 2021 was nothing short of electric. Facing Luigi Vendramini, he delivered a first-round knockout that announced his arrival. In his post-fight interview, Paddy's now iconic line, "You know what I'm saying, lad? I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out," echoed through the MMA world, cementing his status as a fan favorite. The victory wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The UFC, always eager to nurture marketable stars, recognized Paddy's potential to draw crowds, especially in the UK, where his Liverpool roots resonated deeply. His next fight against Rodrigo Vargas in March 2022 further showcased his versatility. Paddy submitted the Mexican fighter in the first round with a rear naked choke, securing his second consecutive finish. Fans were hooked, with some boldly comparing his trajectory to that of Conor McGregor, another charismatic showman who redefined the sport. Paddy's ability to blend technical prowess with unapologetic bravado made him a magnet for attention, but it also invited skepticism. Was he a genuine contender, or just a hyped-up character crafted for UK popularity? The answer would come in the octagon, proving the doubters wrong. Paddy's early UFC matchups were carefully curated, pitting him against opponents with less daunting records to build his profile. Critics argued he was being spoon-fed cans to inflate his hype, but Paddy saw it differently. "I knew when I got signed, there'd be a lot of eyes on me," he said in a 2022 interview. "I'm me, lad. I draw crowds, generate excitement. The UFC's just highlighting what I bring." His confidence wasn't arrogance. It was the conviction of a fighter who knew his worth. In July 2022, Paddy faced Jordan Leavitt, an American fighter whose lackluster record and tepid trash talk did little to intimidate. Leavitt dismissed Paddy's star power, saying, "I don't follow him on social media. He's just a guy I'm fighting, not a star." He criticized Paddy's striking precision and mocked his regional title, predicting an easy win by avoiding past opponents' mistakes. Paddy, however, had other plans. "I'm not shooting for takedowns," he declared. "I'm standing with him and taking his head off." True to his word, Paddy dominated, choking Leavitt out in the second round with a guillotine. As Leavitt tapped, Paddy sealed the moment with a cheeky dance over his fallen foe, turning ridicule into a viral celebration. The MMA world took notice. This Scouser was no joke. Paddy's flair for the dramatic, twerking, post-fight quips, and all drew both adoration and scorn. Fans loved his authenticity, while detractors called him a cringeworthy jester. But beneath the theatrics was a fighter with serious skills, blending grappling finesse with improving striking. His ability to outlast Leavitt's unorthodox style proved he could adapt, setting the stage for bigger challenges. Taking on a legend, Tony Ferguson. By December 2023, Paddy was ready to face his toughest test yet. Tony Ferguson, the former interim UFC lightweight champion and one of the division's most feared fighters. At UFC 296, Paddy stepped into the octagon against a legend on a 6-fight losing streak, a stark contrast to Paddy's 6-fight win streak. The matchup was a narrative goldmine, a rising star versus a battle-worn veteran. Ferguson, training with ultramarathoner David Goggins, was laser-focused, dismissing Paddy as a sensitive kid obsessed with Instagram clout. "I've visualized this," Ferguson said. "He'll see his own blood and feel the cage close in." Paddy, however, was undaunted. "It's an honor to share the cage with the boogeyman," he said, referencing Ferguson's historic 12-fight win streak. "But I'm here to silence critics and prove my supporters right." The hype was palpable, amplified by the UK's own Leon Edwards headlining the card. Paddy came close to a first-round knockout, rocking Ferguson with a flurry of strikes. When the finish didn't come, he leaned on his grappling, securing a unanimous decision victory that left no doubt about his dominance. Post-fight, Paddy acknowledged the critics. "Some still say I couldn't finish a washed-up Tony. That's the game, lad. MMA fans can be toxic, but I keep delivering." The win propelled Paddy into the lightweight top 15, but it also sparked debate. Detractors argued he should have finished Ferguson, a fighter past his prime. Supporters countered that dominating a legend, even one on a losing streak, was no small feat. The UFC saw an opportunity to elevate Paddy further, matching him against another veteran who had previously bested Ferguson, Bobby King Green. Breaking barriers at UFC 304. At UFC 304 in July 2024, Paddy faced Bobby Green, a seasoned striker who had reinvented himself as King Green at nearly 40. Green's confidence bordered on arrogance, dismissing Paddy as a hype job who lost his last fight against Jared Gordon, a controversial decision many believe Paddy won. "CTE is real," Green quipped, implying Paddy's bravado masked vulnerabilities. Paddy, unfazed, saw the fight as a chance to claim a ranking the hard way. "I'm not being handed anything," he said. "I'm taking it." Expectations were mixed. Some believed Green's experience and striking would test Paddy in deep waters. Others saw Paddy's youth and grappling as the edge. The result was stunning. Paddy dominated, submitting Green in just over 3 minutes with a brutal armbar, his first submission in nearly a decade. Green, visibly shaken, offered no excuses. "It was a rough night. I slipped up, and everything went perfectly for him." Paddy's performance was a revelation, showcasing not just skill but a maturing fight IQ. His post-fight dance, a nod to his Leavitt antics, sent the Manchester crowd into a frenzy, solidifying his status as a UK superstar. The Chandler Showdown, UFC 314. Paddy's ascent reached new heights at UFC 314 on April 12, 2025, when he faced Michael Chandler, a former Bellator champion and one of the lightweight division's most explosive fighters. Chandler, fresh off wars with Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Charles Oliveira, saw Paddy as a pleasant workday compared to his previous battles. "I've been in combat for 24 years, Chandler said. "Paddy's entertaining, but let's test that Scousers don't get knocked out claim." He promised relentless pressure and powerful strikes, banking on his experience to overwhelm the younger fighter. Paddy, however, was brimming with confidence. "I don't see how he beats me," he declared. "The only way he wins is a wild punch that knocks me out, and I don't get knocked out, lad. I'll outperform Poirier, Gaethje, and Oliveira." His bold prediction raised eyebrows, with some comparing his bravado to McGregor's Mystic Mac persona. In the co-main event, Paddy delivered on his promise, dismantling Chandler with a blend of precise striking and suffocating grappling. The finish came swiftly, earning Paddy a Performance of the Night bonus and a spot in the lightweight top 10. "This is how we triumph," Paddy roared post-fight. "Plan, fight smart, dominate. Who's next?" Chandler, gracious in defeat, shared a heartfelt post-fight message, posing with his son and reflecting on resilience. For Paddy, the victory was a coronation. Once underestimated, he had now bested a former title challenger, proving he belonged among the elite. The MMA community, once divided, rallied behind the Scouser, with even skeptics acknowledging his growth. The making of a star. Paddy Pimblett's rise is more than a series of wins. It's a cultural phenomenon. His Liverpool roots infuse his persona with authenticity, resonating in a way that fans who see him as a working-class hero can relate to. The UFC's Premier League thrives on stars like Paddy, whose ability to sell fights rivals his skill in the cage. His fights against Vendramini, Vargas, Leavitt, Ferguson, Green, and Chandler aren't just highlights. They're a warning to the division. Underestimate the Baddy at your peril. The MMA landscape has evolved since Paddy's debut. The sport's global reach, amplified by social media, demands fighters who can entertain as much as they compete. Paddy's post-fight dances, Scouse slang, and unfiltered interviews make him a marketer's dream. But his success hinges on substance. His grappling, once his calling card, has been complemented by sharper striking and a growing fight IQ, evident in his ability to adapt against diverse opponents. At 30, Paddy is entering his prime, with the potential to challenge for the lightweight title if he continues his trajectory. A legacy in the making. From a hyped-up jester to the king of the North, Paddy Pimblett has rewritten his narrative. Critics who once mocked his twerking and regional roots now laud his dominance. His journey reflects the heart of MMA, a sport where resilience, skill, and personality converge. The sky is no longer the limit for Paddy. It's just the beginning. As he eyes bigger names like Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier, one thing is clear. The Scouser is here to stay. What's your take on Paddy's rise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button and subscribe for more MMA stories. The octagon awaits, and Paddy, the Baddy Pimblett, is ready for his next conquest. See you at the next fight.